Hey ladies and gentlemen, how many of you have dreamed of success, felt it in your bones, but couldn't bring yourself to open that laptop, finish that task, or even make your bed? If your mind races with big visions but your body says nap instead, congratulations, you're not broken, you're just ambitious but lazy. And that's not the curse you think it is. To understand what it means to be ambitious but lazy, we must first accept that these traits aren't inherently contradictory. Ambition is about having a grand vision, a goal that stretches the imagination and defies mediocrity. It speaks to a deep longing to rise, to build, to be known, to be free, or to be impactful. Laziness, on the other hand, is not the absence of goals, but rather the reluctance or resistance to consistent action. It's a psychological and physiological inclination to conserve energy, avoid discomfort, or delay effort. The paradox is that someone can deeply crave greatness while being unable to engage in the process that greatness demands. This tension is not rare, it's human. Recognizing that you are not alone in this paradox is the first empowering step. Rather than labeling yourself as broken or weak, understand that you are operating with a specific wiring, one that can be worked with instead of fought against. Most people who feel trapped between big dreams and low action don't lack willpower as much as they lack clarity. If you wake up and know that you want success but can't articulate what that means, the brain sees no tangible target to pursue. Clarity is what transforms foggy ambition into sharp direction. Defining what success means to you, in vivid detail, is essential. Is it financial independence, creative expression, influence, or leadership, security and peace? Your version of success determines your path. When you're lazy, the brain resists wasted energy, and vagueness feels like a waste. But when the end goal is clear and emotionally resonant, it becomes harder for the mind to ignore it. That clarity must be reinforced often. Write it down, visualize it, say it out loud, because laziness isn't just physical slowness, it's also mental drift. Anchor your mind by knowing your why. There is a dangerous myth that we must wait for motivation to act. But motivation is a fleeting state, not a reliable companion. Instead, what works consistently is building systems that operate regardless of mood or energy. A system is a structured routine, process, or tool set that guides you through tasks in predictable ways. For someone who is lazy, a system reduces decision fatigue and removes the need for daily willpower. For example, instead of deciding every morning whether or not to work out, lay your clothes out the night before and schedule the workout into your calendar. Make the first step so easy and predetermined that your lazy side doesn't resist it. Systems can include time blocking, using productivity apps, or creating templates and workflows. With the right systems in place, even the laziest among us can become machines of progress without feeling like we're trying. A deceptively simple rule can revolutionize a lazy person's productivity. If something takes less than 1 minute to do it immediately. This rule counters one of the core problems lazy people face: the snowballing of small tasks into overwhelming chaos. When your environment is cluttered, messages pile up, or small tasks stack into giant to-do lists, laziness, it becomes reinforced because now the mental load feels unbearable. But by acting on 1-minute tasks instantly, you disrupt that cycle. Replying to a message, taking out the trash, or opening an important email doesn't require deep work, just a moment of presence. These micro-actions over time rebuild your identity from someone who avoids to someone who responds. They also create psychological wins that make your brain more likely to act again. Small victories create big momentum. You don't need to compete with the hustle culture. You can replace hard work with smart work. This doesn't mean avoiding effort altogether. It means being strategic with where you place your energy. Find leverage. If you're a content creator, use templates and batch record. If you're an entrepreneur, hire a virtual assistant or use automation tools. Ask yourself, what is the simplest, most efficient way to achieve this outcome? Lazy ambition thrives in environments that reward creativity, not brute force. If your dream is to build a business but you hate cold calls, find a way to build an inbound funnel. If you hate networking, let your work speak for itself through SEO or social media. Leverage your strengths and outsource your drains. The goal is not to be heroic, it's to be effective. Time management is overrated when you're lazy. What matters more is energy management. You could have all day free and still accomplish nothing if your energy is flat. Conversely, 1 hour of high energy, focused effort can do more than a lazy 8-hour grind. Identify when your body and mind are at their best. For many, it's in the morning. For others, it might be late at night. Protect those windows fiercely and reserve them for your most important work. Schedule tasks according to your natural rhythms, not society's 9 to 5. Also build rest into your system. Real rest, not mindless scrolling. Recovery fuels productivity. Being lazy isn't about doing nothing. It's about doing less of what drains you and more of what aligns with your natural peaks. Accountability can transform laziness into action. Humans are social creatures. We don't like looking bad in front of others. Leverage this by building accountability trap structures that make failure visible and embarrassing. Bet money on your goals, publicly announce deadlines, use tools that track your habits and share progress with friends. If you're lazy, don't rely on internal pressure. Create external pressure. If you're supposed to finish a draft by Friday, send your outline to a friend on Monday and tell them to expect it. Knowing that someone is watching can push you through. When motivation fails, rewards also matter. Promise yourself real treats when goals are hit, not generic ones, but things that genuinely excite you. The combination of fear and pleasure can move even the most sedentary dreamer. When the gap between desire and action feels too wide, shrink the task. Most procrastination stems from overwhelm. You want to write a book, but the thought of 300 pages stops you cold. So write one paragraph. You want to get fit, but an hour at the gym feels impossible. So do 5 push-ups. These micro actions are not about immediate results, they are about creating forward motion. Once you start, momentum takes over. You may end up doing more than you planned. Even if you don't, you've won. You've proved to yourself that you can act. That identity shift, from someone who delays to someone who does, is the real reward. Micro actions are Trojan horses. They sneak productivity past the defenses of laziness. Sometimes, no matter how hard you try, your ambition and laziness collide in a stalemate. That's when you employ a subtle trick. Productive procrastination can't write that report. Organize your desk. Don't want to study. Watch an educational video. You're not avoiding work. You're shifting the type of work. This tactic allows you to honor your resistance without surrendering to idleness. It turns laziness into lateral progress. It also gives your brain a break while keeping your sense of forward motion intact. Over time, this tactic helps you avoid the guilt spiral that comes from total shutdown. You remain in motion, just not in a straight line, and sometimes that zigzag is enough to keep your ambition alive. Laziness often produces guilt, and guilt is paralyzing. It tells you that you failed, that you're behind, that you're flawed. This creates a cycle. You feel lazy, you feel bad for being lazy, and that bad feeling makes you more lazy. To escape this, you must practice forgiveness. Not just once, but regularly. You are not your past inaction. You are not your worst day. Every time you restart, you rebuild. Don't let guilt be the judge of your worth. Let effort be the reset. Missed 3 days. Start today. Screwed up a deadline. Apologize, learn, and begin again. Resilience is more powerful than perfection. Forgiveness fuels resilience. It makes room for ambition to breathe again. It's easy to get addicted to inspiration. You scroll through motivational quotes, TED Talks, and success stories, feeling fired up. But that fire dies quickly without wood. Wood is action. The lazy ambitious must realize that inspiration is not the goal. It is fuel. You must build the engine. One action, however small, is worth more than 100 motivational videos. Action builds confidence. Action creates data. Action tells your brain, this is who I am. Don't wait for the perfect mood. Don't wait to feel ready. Do something, anything, and let action lead the way. And finally, here's the twist. Your laziness is not a flaw, it's a feature. It forces you to seek ease, efficiency, and elegance. It demands that you find shortcuts, question norms, and work smarter. When paired with ambition, laziness becomes a kind of genius. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and many innovators have openly admitted to using laziness to their advantage. They looked for simpler paths where others only saw grind. If you embrace this paradox, if you combine your dreamer's fire with your slacker's skepticism, you can engineer a life that works for you, not against you. You won't just chase your goals. You'll design systems that bring those goals to you faster. So if you're ambitious but lazy, don't despair. You are not doomed. You are dangerous, because when you learn to harness both sides, you become unstoppable. So if you're ambitious but lazy, you're not doomed. You're dangerous in the best way. Because when you master both, you don't just chase your dreams. You build machines to chase them for you. Thank you.